Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Coffee at the 10 Star Home series by Suho, in which we talk with people from the industry and our partners about this very energy efficient home here in South Australia. Today, I have with me Christian Schiemann from ABB Australia. We're going to have a little Dutch-German get-together to talk about this amazing home in Australia. They've been partners on this project literally from day one. Very excited to have you here, Christian, and even more excited to talk about how you guys got involved into this project, but also what the future brings moving forward from here, because we've put a concept card together with the help of you guys that obviously is a sort of a view into the future. But let's talk with for the people that are viewing this about what that future might look like after this as well. So welcome, Christian. Great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks, Lawrence. Thanks for the intro and thanks for having me this morning, even though I can only join virtually at the moment, but I'm pretty sure we can change that in the future as well. So the reason why ABB got involved in the 10 Star Home Suho project was basically when the first discussion started between ABB and Suho, and you started to talk about the 10 Star home. It was pretty clear to us that in order to achieve this outstanding rating you're really trying to or you envisaged at that time, Suho will look beyond, let's say, the architectural measures you have in place. So technology was basically required to control the use of lighting, the heating, potentially the solar gain, And on our side, we have a solution in our market we haven't really introduced properly into the market and haven't shown people how it's really functioned together. So we used what we called at that time the ABB Connected at Home solution, where we were able to offer a home automation solution that also incorporates door intercom for comfort and security, a solar solution, and even all the way down to electric vehicle charging. So Excellent. This way, we could not only help Suho to achieve the 10-star rating, but also showcase for ABB the connected home solution, how that can enhance the comfort and living style of the occupants, basically.
Well, what you're touching on is obviously extremely important for us. Like, it's one thing to design and build a home of this kind of level of energy efficiency and comfort. But like I always like to say, is if you put a 2-star person in a 10-star home, it's not going to perform like a 10-star home. So you need certain ways, and certainly with modern technology, there are ways to help automate certain parts of that process and making sure that it's easy for the inhabitants to make sure that the home is going to perform the way it was initially intended to do. And the home automation is probably one of the things that I'm personally most excited about, because I think that's really where the future is. Could you talk a little bit about, because obviously people might know ABB as a, it's a massive player in the market. You guys do so many different things. It's probably hard to explain what you guys don't do, but seeing you guys in such a relatively, small project in the suburbs of Adelaide is obviously very exciting. So what type of home automation have you guys actually installed in this 10-star home, and what are the processes that you actually are automated?
Yeah. It's a good question. I mean, one point you really made at the beginning is very important, that if you put a 2-star person to 10-star home, you're not achieving really the 10-star rating. You need to automate a lot of functionality. But what we try to do is that we combine a lot of products which are not only focused on energy efficiency and the automation of certain things, but also give you at the same time a comfort and make it a comfortable living environment for the occupant, basically.
Mm-hmm.
We're originally coming from more the commercial side of the building. So what we're doing is the building automation side for, let's say, commercial buildings like airports, hotels, shopping centers, etc., etc. But the ultimate requirement is the same. And it seems to be probably a small project at first glance, but ultimately this is something we need to roll out into the market in a far wider scale to bring Australia up to speed with energy efficiency and automation also in the residential part.
Yeah. So what are the exact what are the things that are now automated? Like, because
Well,
most people
we
will
have
not be
a
used to automation, right? I mean, haven't seen a lot of automation in Australian residential homes at
yeah.
all.
Now that's true. So we have a wide range of different solutions that, as I mentioned earlier, are designed to work together. So we start with let's say, start at the front door. We have what we call the Welcome M door intercom solution at the front door,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can not only take the door call on your smart device, so it doesn't really matter where you are in the house or if you're in the garden.
Yeah.
You can actually take it from anywhere in the world, and it
Mm-hmm.
will be also displayed on a smart touchscreen on the wall, which is doubling also as the smart screen for the home controls. So that's
Yeah.
where we're actually starting, and
It
that
makes a
leads us.
screenshot, I saw actually. So it
Yeah,
actually makes a screenshot of when someone rings the door, so you get like a history of you can see what. I just
that,
saw that functionality myself the other week.
yeah, that is true, and it's a very good security feature, if you want to say it this
Mm-hmm.
way. So if somebody's at your front door, rings the doorbell, and the door call will not be answered, the
Yeah.
system takes automatically 3 screenshots of the person outside. This
Yeah.
helped actually in a real life scenario back in Europe, where the person got burgled, to identify the person who was actually outside, and you can transfer these pictures onto an
Wow.
SD card screen and can give it to the authorities if you want to do that. But equally, a very good feature in an application, what you tend to do, because you can take your video call anywhere you are. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're out and about doing the shopping and the kids coming home from school left the keys in the morning, you
Yeah.
can actually see them, you can speak to them, you can let them in if you want to. So you have a
Yeah.
real flexible application here as well.
Or when the package comes, can you talk to the postman and say, "Sorry, I'm not in at the moment, but can you drop it over there?"
Absolutely. If the postman has the patience to wait for you answering the call, that's a very good feature. You can also have a second, maybe a garage door, a side door of an annex building, which is also electrically connected to the door
Yeah.
intercom solution, and just open the side door for him to leave the parcel in there, as an
Oh wow,
example. So
that's
that
exciting
depends
stuff.
on how the installation has been done.
Excellent. That's really exciting stuff. And I know that when you come in, the first thing I actually see you operate is the light switches, which are also ABB.
Yeah,
Um,
that is true. Yeah, I mean the solution we have installed is our free at home solution. So you have all the switches and all the, let's say, background devices talking to each other natively.
mm-hmm.
So we can not only control the lighting and the shading, which is quite important, especially in the 10-star home, but also it
Mm-hmm.
interacts with the heating and cooling of the house. So we can open or close skylights or windows automatically should the indoor temperature reach a certain threshold, or you can link it to the weather station, which we have also installed in the 10-star
Yeah.
home. So the windows would close automatically if it, for example, starts to rain. So this is where we're going to start with the smart home solution. And again, it's not only that you have it on your touchscreen on the wall, you can have it on your app, on your smart device, or on your
Yeah.
tablet to control the house from wherever you are.
Yeah, I find that really exciting. We got obviously the ABB sensors as well across the house. If obviously the whole point about this home is that it doesn't have any active heating and cooling. It keeps itself into that comfortable 18 to 25 degree temperature, which it's being a very tight, airtight home that controls itself. It's important that we can control. The home can almost keep itself at that temperature by closing blinds when the sun, for instance, is full on it, and you don't want to get all that heat into the house. Or on another day, perhaps open the windows a bit for that extra bit of fresh air when you feel like the CO2 levels maybe in the house get a little bit at a point where you don't want it to be. So, in or outside of the house where you are, it doesn't really have to matter, because as I understand, you can program it to actually operate these things automatically.
Absolutely, and this is the key for a home automation solution, to automate things, to make sure the occupant doesn't have to worry about these things. If the occupant says, "I want to have 20 degrees in my house," the system will take care of it to keep it at 20 degrees. whether the sun comes round and starts heating up the building too much, so you can actually close the shutters or the blinds, etc., or you potentially start a cooling mechanism by opening the windows or skylights, whatever you have installed. This is where the system really should take care of it automatically. So you, as an occupant, you don't have to worry about these things.
Yeah.
You just tell the house what you want from the house, and the house takes care of it by itself.
Stuff. And what about the solar? You touched on that a little bit. So how does it communicate with, and how do we capitalize on that?
Yeah, it's a very good point you make there, Lawrence. So the free at home solution is also connected to a solar inverter, which was originally an ABB solar inverter, have been now taken over by FEMA in Australia, and they continue to support the protocol for free at home.
Yeah.
So we can continue to talk to each other in a way that we can not only display in the house the status of the battery, so we can also show how much energy we have produced through the solar solution, how much energy has been stored in the batteries, and you can set up rules for in free at home also connected to the solar system. So whereby you have a typical scene or rule to say, if it's 10 o'clock and the temperature is below X, Y, Z, do the following action in the house. You can do that also with the solar inverter in a way that you say, if my battery is 80% charged, start the washing machine. At the time where the energy is
right. So you can get so you can even have your appliances start and these kind of things using the
we
system.
Recently actually included in our free at home solution a couple of manufacturers who talk in the free at home language, basically, if you want to say it this way.
Yeah.
So you can connect, for instance, Miele household devices, Bosch Siemens household devices to the free at home solution to even, have a morning routine where you get up and press the light button, the blinds coming up, the music starts, and the coffee machine switches on already. So we can go even that far. Yeah,
that's awesome. And we have got a Miele washing machine here, I saw, and that's probably one of those machines that can be connected. And I guess this touches a little bit already on what I was really keen to talk to you about is that future. Like, what's the next step in this thing? And we're obviously talking about touching a light switch, working on your mobile phone, which I suppose, something that people are already getting more and more used to. But I've heard talks about, actually being able to control all of this with your voice in the house using, the speaking systems that you have nowadays with Alexa and other things. Like, what can you tell us about, the next step in the control of these kind of systems?
So I think it's interesting to see where the free at home, or how the free at home solution has actually evolved over the last couple of years. It started as a lighting and shutter and heating control solution for the home. Very quickly it became apparent that people are interested in mood lighting. So we were working together with Philips to include the Philips Hue solution. We could see other developments being really interesting, like geofencing. So when your phone is locked in with or connected to the free at home solution, and you approach your house to a certain distance, and the phone is recognized that you're in the vicinity, you can start the outdoor lighting coming on, or let's say a particular specific heating or cooling scenario being coming on. So it evolved over a long period of time, and we keep adding more functionalities to it as we go through the years. So one of the key focus for ABB was that we have to, rather than reinventing the wheel ourselves every time with something we do in-house, the connection to the third-party products like the Philips Hue lighting. So we have Alexa controlling our home naturally by voice now, if the customer decides to do that, or the integration of the household goods I just mentioned a second ago, which we have recently released. So does
that mean that I can I literally say to Alexa, put my washing machine on, or I want to watch TV, or I want to watch a movie, and then the blinds go down and the lights get dimmed, and that's where this is heading?
Absolutely, it is already there. It's not even where it's heading; it's already there.
If
you have created the movie scene as an example in the solution, which actually gives you then the opportunity to say, okay, if I start the movie scene, I want to have the lights dimmed down to 10%. I want the shutter coming down. maybe the heating or cooling changing in any way or form, you can transfer that automatically, or it's actually transferred automatically into the Alexa voice control. So you can just say, Alexa, start the movie scene, and then
That's
actually
exciting
these
stuff.
actions which are pre-programmed will just simply start.
Well, that's a good example of how sometimes the future is already there. People are just simply not aware of it.
And I
that's
think we
another
can
thing.
see, Lawrence, we can see over the last couple of months actually how important it becomes also to become more energy efficient in the house. Prime example is what we are going through at the moment, that a lot of people are working from home. Certainly
Yeah.
when you're in Melbourne at the moment, like me. So I'm working from home for the last 6 months. So it becomes more and more important how my house functions and works with regards to energy consumption and functionality, basically, because I
Absolutely.
spend more time at home as I have done
Yeah.
in years before together. And this is really the direction ABB takes, is to make it more convenient, more comfortable, more
Yeah.
flexible, but also more energy efficient, like
Yeah.
the integration of the
So
solar and the EV
yeah.
charger we have as well.
And so what is the, obviously the things we talked about are very, very kind of obvious from a comfort and energy, efficiency perspective. What are the perhaps less obvious benefits that a home automation system it offers to your home? Like I'm thinking health, for instance. Like I can imagine that has a big positive side to it as well when it comes to using this kind of system.
100%. I mean, we look already into direction of DALI lighting control with human-centric lighting. So actually, your lights are dimmed according to the time of the day, which is really exciting. And it's already a thing in the commercial side, where we're implementing that in office buildings, where we're trying to mimic basically the light according to the time of the day. But that will also come into the residential sector. So you will have a far more natural artificial light, if that is a thing to say this
Yeah.
way,
Yeah. Yeah.
to really make you more feel like you're outside, And then temperature is a major comfort. And you mentioned one thing earlier, which I found quite interesting, is like the CO2 level. So we're already implementing CO2 or air quality sensors in schools, where on the commercial side, where actually as soon as a certain threshold of the CO2 level is reached, either the air conditioning starts or the skylights or the windows opening automatically
Yeah.
to let fresh air in. So that's a
So
very, very interesting part.
would you say that the commercial industry is basically leading the way, and then we see that the technologies are being developed there, and then basically hop over to the residential side of things?
I think partly when it comes to the energy efficiency, that is a definite yes on that question, simply because the requirements are at a greater scale. It's probably also for companies far more interesting at the first glance when you develop new solutions and you get a return of investment, because the projects by nature are a lot bigger. But once it's developed, it's easily scaled down, if you want to say it this way, to the residential application, and we can take advantage and leverage from the same results we have in the commercial building. On the other hand, it also showed us the other way around, what is possible. The voice control was developed for the residential solution, not for the commercial solution. But we can already see that going from residential into commercial. Quite
A little
interestingly.
bit back to commercial as well. So what do you think, like if we're putting our future, looking into the future goggles on, what is the one feature or new feature that is maybe perhaps not there currently or not yet, that perhaps the ABB is working on, that you think that you can talk about, that you are most excited about coming to the either commercial or residential market?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, the human-centric lighting is a typical thing we spoke about, so there will be a lot more focus on this kind of topic. I think the cloud connectivity is a big challenge for a technology manufacturer like ourselves, not to make the connection to the cloud, but making it secure and safe for the user. This is one of the most important things we have to really worry about going forward, especially as we now using anything digital in a far greater scale than we have done nine months ago. We partner here, for instance, with really big companies like Microsoft or Cisco to provide the cloud bases and the security for that as well. Because ultimately, if we give you a cloud platform to talk to certain things, we need to make sure what we give you is a safe solution on that topic.
Yeah.
So this is certainly one direction which is really important. But when you said, do we have goggles on to control our house in the future? I would say the answer is clearly yes on that. During the Light in Building in 2018 in Frankfurt in Germany, we actually showed how we can potentially control the free at home solution via augmented reality. So basically you
That's
look
awesome.
at a switch,
Yeah.
and then you get options basically displayed in front of your eye, and just by looking at the different options, the action is going to take. So we've proven it's technically possible. It's just not very attractive because the goggles are not necessarily one you want to run around in the house at the moment. But the technology is there. We have proven it already.
So that's very sci-fi, and that's exciting to hear. And you always obviously talked about how there's a lot of learnings there. There's a lot of things that you're pioneering together with these big partners. And that's what this project obviously is all about as well. This 10-star home is a concept car, as we like to call it. It's not something we're expecting to be on the market next week. It's a pilot. It's something where we're trying to learn about the different technologies that are out there in the market. What are some of the key learnings that you guys have had from this project in itself?
Yeah, I mean, we're constantly trying to improve our progress in the market. So looking for most user-friendly solution, bringing people and technology together, basically. That's what it is. That's why we keep on developing solutions that connect our customers basically with the power of the Internet of Things, if you want to use that terminology, through digital solutions, smarter homes and buildings, etc. So this way we can improve or support them in increase the uptime or improve their return of investment on these buildings as well. The 10-star home in a specific view had a slightly different requirement than when it comes to automation as the normal house normally comes. So monitoring was a big part, and it was good to see that we could still fulfill the brief with a proposed solution. Also very interesting was that there was not really a heating and cooling system installed. So how can the automation be part of delivering a comfortable environment without switching on an air conditioning or a heater?
Yeah, my good point. By the way, what you just heard, and people that are watching this, that was actually someone at the front door using the ABB system. Another partner that is a guest later today for one of the interviews. So he popped up right on the screen on the left of me. A beautiful image video of him standing outside, and my colleague went out to get him. So that was ABB Homes Automation live in action, perfectly timed. So obviously, when we're talking about what some people consider quite sci-fi, techy, innovative, new, the first thing that comes to mind is, well, that must cost a lot of money. And obviously, being Dutch, that's the first thing that came to mind as well to me. So that must cost heaps of money. So is that perception correct? Is it a costly exercise to automate your home, or is it something that over time already has gone down significantly? And what are the potential cost benefits that you can achieve?
Sure. I mean, the question, is it expensive, or how much does it cost to put a solution into my house? Is, in fairness, it's a difficult question to answer. Of course, it depends on the general construction value of the home. Have I got a six-story luxury home and with everything gold plated, or do I have, let's say, the typical average house you're going to have, and how many bedrooms, etc. as well.
Yeah.
If you provide a 8 or even a 10-star home, the automation will be a bigger portion of it, but at the same time, you save a lot more through the energy efficiency. So you might invest up front on what we call the capital expenditure a little bit more to start with, but you save in the long run. And a prime example is actually the 10-star home. And as you might mention later on, is we also implemented the same solution, the 8-star home, where we also can take advantage of our solar generation of the control of the heating and cooling, making sure that lights are not on when they're not supposed to be on, when that the heating is always constant and not overheated or too cool in the house, which gives you a good climate. So all these actions will eventually save you money in the long run.
Yeah, of course.
There's an element of comfort in there, which you probably have to pay for at the end. But it depends
like with
how
anything,
much you want to install.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, it makes sense that not having any home automation is always going to be, in initial cost cheaper than having automation. But what I'm interested in is has ABB run any, studies on this in terms of perhaps savings and on energy and this kind of things as a result of using home automation? Is there any numbers that we can share with the viewers, or?
From the commercial side, we have a lot of automation results which were done by a university in Germany, and obviously the numbers we get from them are up to numbers simply because there's so many variables in there. How much is the room or the building occupied? Is it facing north or south? What time of the year is, etc., etc. But by automating lighting control in a very simple way, you save easily 10% of your energy bill on the lighting. If you go for, let's say, occupancy based or artificial lighting, so ambient lighting control, so you have controlling the lux level on a regular basis, you can easily save up to 50% of your lighting cost usually as well. And the same applies into the HVAC.
Yeah, no, and that's what I think people should be, conscious about that. And it's the same thing that we talk about when you can build a cheaper home with not much, intent around energy efficiency and all that, and perhaps be cheaper because you have cheaper glazing, you have cheaper insulation. But we always say to people as well, similar to what you're just saying, look, invest more upfront. You're going to be saving a lot of money down the track in that next 10 years. Plus the comfort that you gain from it is exceptional. I'm sitting here in this home where next to a very, very busy road. You do not hear a thing. It's super comfortable to work in, to sit in, to do these interviews. And I have no doubt for a future inhabitant of this building, a very comfortable place to live. So it's all about thinking long game, not just short-term solution.
And absolutely, and I think it's interesting you mentioned the let's say the windows or the noise point. You and I were both from a European country where the standard starts at double glazing, and they're already considering triple glazing as a standard. In comparison to a lot of buildings still being built in Australia in single glazing, with a perception that it's not required because we are in Australia. But ultimately, a double or triple glazing solution not only gives you more security on the glass and noise control, but you also keep the heat out or the the cooling in because of the different gases you use in there. So they place all together. The interesting part from an automation point of view can be that you can put a lot of building measures in, like the windows, the cladding, the insulation, which are usually very costly thing because they're part of the shell on the structure of the building. Implementing an automation on top of it is relatively inexpensive if you compare the result for that as well. So that's quite important to understand as well.
No, you need to look at it obviously holistically, I suppose. And if you do go down the route where you want to, for instance, like the 8-star home, which is now on sale, that's a home that has, it's perhaps a bit more expensive for the square meters than your typical home in this block. But people need to realize there's probably over $100,000 to $150,000 worth of innovation technology already in the home. We've got the electrical charger for the cars, the hydronic heating, the batteries, the inverters, the solar panels, the home automation system. It all comes, included. And then that's where I think this is, heading in the market, that more and more of these homes are going to come with home automation actually part of what you buy. And I think that's a really exciting development personally, 100%. Because it also, it ensures also that people don't just do one thing without maybe doing other things, which makes that one thing far less efficient because it all ties in together. So providing also as a builder and an architect, like a holistic solution to your clients where that all just comes in together, I think is really an exciting thing that we've been seeing in this project. So,
and it's a very, very good point you make there, Lawrence, is that I would like to see these, let's say, automation solutions being already included in the houses. it's far easier to bring the country forward in terms of technology by including it in the house rather than trying to convince the individuals, because once it's in there, the individuals will use it, they will benefit from that, and it also increases the value of the property for the developer, if we want to be realistic. And he sells a better solution, a better house to the client.
And it's a real USP. You know, it's obviously not something that is very common right now in Australia in residential homes. So having it in there is definitely a great selling point, good to market. So it has a lot of value for a developer as well, is what I see. So it's exciting stuff what's happening around this space. Like I said, I'm personally think this is one of the more exciting parts of this home. I love that automation happening around here. So thanks so much, Christian, to you and ABB Australia for being involved and so actively involved in this project. And thank you also so much for joining today to have a chat about this with me. And
well, for thanks those for having me.
Always a pleasure, you know that. And I think for those people who are interested to see more about the 8-star home and the 10-star home, on the 20th of September, Sustainable House Day, we're going to be running virtual tours through both homes, which will allow people to see the homes, the solutions by ABB and our other partners sort of live in action. So I'll definitely encourage anyone viewing this and being curious to see how this all ties into the bigger picture to join those virtual tours.
Looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, Christian, have yourself a great weekend, and thanks again for joining in. And hope to see you very, very soon again when Melbourne is out of lockdown.
100%. Thank you very much for having me.
Excellent.